All right, we'll wait for a couple people to hop on here. So let's see. Hey guys, so I'm not seeing any of the comments or anything, so I don't know if anyone can send something real quick, or I just want to make sure that it's all working since it'll be the first time doing this live stream. So Dwayne, thanks man. Can you see and hear everything okay? It all looks okay so far? Good, good. So I just wanted to make sure everything looks and sounds okay. So, all right, so good. So everybody can hear. Dwayne, you can hear me okay? I want to make sure that the audio and everything is coming through okay. So I appreciate the 5 people that are on so far. So good. So. John, I'm glad you could hop on, man. We'll be doing this hopefully soon, so I appreciate it. So it'll be fun. So I thought I would do. It's similar to blind whiskey review. So if everybody go check his channel and stuff out too. So he does a great job, and he does something very, very similar to this, except he does basically one at a time. This is just going to be from a few samples that I got. Hopefully Nick will hop on here pretty soon and we can start. So I'll wait just maybe a couple more minutes. Plus I want to see if I can follow the chat along on an iPad, just kind of see what I end up with here. Let's see what we get. Then that way I can kind of keep an eye on the hey Nick, how's it going? All right, we'll see if I can see the chat and everything on there. So it might be a little bit delayed, but I'll keep an eye on that. So anyway, I thought I would do the kind of a blind review today. I thought that'd be something kind of fun to do. So we'll go in order. So 1, 2, 3. So Nick was nice enough to send or give me a few samples to do a review of. I've got, which the wife put in an envelope so that we can, I guess, ultimately reveal that at the end in terms of what they are. So we'll kind of do that. I'll keep an eye on the whatever, the comments and everything, and try to comment, because it looks like it kind of goes away on my end. I'm a little bit more ahead on the live stream than what I see come in. So we'll kind of go from there. So maybe I'll give this a couple more minutes. We'll see if a couple more people hop on, and we'll kind of go from there. So can everybody still hear and see and everything okay? Everything sounds and looks okay? I guess just give me a thumbs up, or let me know in the comments so that I can make sure that we're good to go. Okay, sounds good. Jamie, how you doing? John, sounds good. I appreciate you at least stopping by for a couple minutes. So let's see, I want to check one more thing on here. Let's see if I can get... I just wanted to make sure I could see the other stuff. So thanks, Dwayne, I appreciate it. All right, so why don't we go ahead and we'll kind of get into this. Nick, are you still on so I can kind of go through some of this and you can see exactly what's going on? I guess just send me something, let me know that you're still there as well. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll kind of get started with this. So I'm gonna go from, you know, obviously, actually is this number 1 here? Yeah, number 1. So I'm gonna go this direction, so left, or 1, 2, and 3. So we'll see kind of how all of this goes. So I have zero idea of what this is. Nick was nice enough to again send me or give me these samples, and I thought I would do my first kind of like live stream event and kind of just have some fun with it. So rather than just doing a recording. So, and again, we've got it all sealed up, so I have zero idea of what's in there. So let's go ahead. I've got a little piece of paper. I'm gonna kind of just take some notes and see what we've got. And if anybody has any comments or has any questions or anything, you know, let me know. I'm happy to kind of do whatever. We've only got a few people on. Looks like a total of 7, 8 actually right now. So let's go ahead and we'll kind of get into this thing. So as everybody can see, this is a really nice color here. I mean, these are all, to me, they all look like they've got some type of, I mean, that they've been finished in something. They're unless they got a lot of age to them, but anyway. Whew. So with number 1, right away I'm getting hit with, boy, a little bit of, boy, it's almost like a wine barrel, like a Cabernet, or boy, something really sweet, cognac, something along those lines. Boy, yeah, there's something about that one. There's not a lot of heat on number 1. Very sweet. Not a lot of spice or anything like that, but very sweet. And I think, Carl, I think these are, according to Nick, I don't believe they're actually all bourbons. He didn't tell me what they all were, but he said that they're not all bourbon. So as Nick said, it could be anything. Yes, it could be anything, which is a bit scary, a little bit, that it could be anything, but anyway, so there's a chance that this is maybe even a bit of like a single malt or something too. But I don't know. We'll kind of see. I'm guessing that there's maybe going to be a rye or a single malt or something in here, and it could be this as well. But I mean, this gives me there's a little bit of spice kind of the longer I kind of, you know, smell this a little bit. Well, let's go ahead. We'll give it a taste, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, so there's a little bit of heat to it. Boy, it's actually spicier than the nose on it. Yeah, this is for sure. I'm guessing that this is a bourbon finished in some type of wine, finish of some sort. I don't know if that's right. I guess, I don't know, I'll probably be humbled as heck after I'm done with this. I'm sure I'll goof everything up, but yeah, this is very, very good. Very like viscous. Finish is you know, probably, you know, medium to long on this. It wants to kind of sit there, especially in the back of the palate. Very, very good. Yeah, it's for sure something finished. I just don't know what. I'm kind of back and forth on, God, it really is. It reminds me of like a single malt that's finished in something for some reason. I don't know if that's what it is or I'm thinking too much. I don't know. Man. Oh, I don't know. I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that in a little bit, but all right, let's go on to number 2. So, as you can see, again, another really, really nice color to this. I mean, these look like wine almost. I mean, this is like a really dark copper. So, actually, what I wanted to do before was just take a couple of notes. So, just to kind of let me have something to reference to. So, I don't know, I'm gonna think. Man, I don't know what that's finished in, but it's definitely something. So anyway, all right, let's go on to number 2. So, man, number 1 has got a super long finish. That stuff is still sticking around. I'm afraid it's gonna mess with number 2 a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna say right away, this is probably a bourbon. It just has a little bit more of the bourbon kind of notes. You know, kind of sweet. There's that. There's the honey, the butterscotch is there. You know, a little bit of a kind of a chocolatey note to it as well. Boy, there's something sweet, like floral to it a little bit. But, you know, kind of butterscotchy. Boy, there's something else that's sweet there. All right, well, let's go ahead and give this a taste, so. Well, I guess if I had to guess, based on the flavor profile, gosh, what in the world? Nick, you're killing me here. Boy. I'm like stumped on that. I thought on the nose that it was a bourbon, but the more I kind of taste it, the more I think it's a rye. The way it's kind of spicy, some pretty good. Boy, it's a little bit sweet. It's a little kind of like I get like a lot of like barley almost kind of coming through. So, yeah, you did. You said they were going to be all very interesting. So now I have like no idea what in the world any of this stuff is. But yeah, I so far tasting, I mean, I don't know. I don't think actually in tasting this, I don't think this is a bourbon at all. I don't know, I get a lot of, I don't know, it tastes like a single malt that's finished in something to me. I don't think it's bourbon. I think it's a like a Scotch or something almost. It's a, I don't think that's a bourbon. If it is, I'll be absolutely amazed. So I can't wait to figure out what in the world that is. I just want to go back to, boy, I don't know if that's a finished bourbon. Yeah, number 2 I don't think is bourbon at all. My guess is that this is some type of maybe single malt of some kind that's maybe finished in something. Number 1, again, I don't know, maybe this was, I don't know. No, number 1 is, I don't think number 1 is bourbon. I think number 1 is a rye. So far, I think maybe 2 is like some type of, again, finished single malt. I mean, with the color on these, I'm going to say that all of them are finished in something else. I don't know exactly what, but we'll find out at the end. But let's, I guess before I run through all of this, who's all on tonight? I'm not seeing exactly. I've seen a few people that were on here. I know Dwayne. I know Nick's on here. Is there anybody who's kind of new or just, this is the first time? So yeah. So yeah, it is. This is a lot of fun. It's something different to do. I thought, rather than just doing a regular video like I do, that it would be, kind of fun to, get everybody involved and, ask questions and kind of follow along and see what hopefully the, what all this stuff is, Jamie. Well, it's good to know I'm better than NCIS. That's kind of good. So, Todd, how's it going? I appreciate it. Thanks, Nick. So yeah, it's fun. I mean, now again, this is my first time doing this. So hopefully I can kind of get a few of the kinks and stuff out of things. But I didn't want to just rush through it. I thought it'd be kind of fun just to interact. I mean, that's obviously why I try to do some of these, just to have fun. I've met some great guys who are on here right now as well. It is just kind of a fun hobby, and pretending to kind of know what you're talking about is fun as well. But it is again a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, Whiskey Junkie. That's what I've been trying to do. I think number 1 so far, I think, is some type of, I'm gonna go with a finished rye, possibly there. Number 2, I'm gonna say this is some type of, again, finished, like maybe single malt of some sort. 3 I haven't gotten into yet, so I would just kind of going over a few of these. But yeah. So anyway, we'll get into number 3. I got to get some of this other stuff off my palate a little bit. So hopefully I can do a few more of these things coming up. I like kind of the idea of the live events, just to kind of be interactive and in the moment with people. And I know it's early, but is there anybody else who's maybe having anything yet? I know it's not 5 o'clock quite, but is anybody else having anything, or am I the only one that looks like a true alcoholic at 4:50 p.m. Central Standard Time? So which is a possibility. So, but anyway, so let's go ahead. We'll get into number 3. So, also, was there anybody who was on here at the Distill America up in Madison over the weekend? I mean, I know everybody's not local, but I didn't know if anybody had a chance. Nick, I don't think you were there. I probably would have run into you, and we probably would have talked a little bit, but I don't know if anybody else was there. Or has anybody heard of that, or are there any events anybody else is going to, or anything anytime soon? Boy. So this is number 3. Boy, there is something about that. These are all, I mean, they are about as different as they could be. I mean, there's nothing so far that's similar. There's nothing that's similar about any of this stuff. It's all completely different. Boy, number 3, this is kind of weird, but number 3, I'm kind of getting a hint of glue. That's kind of weird. So yeah, I don't know. That's strange a little bit. Boy. I don't know. Well, I guess let me go back to Whiskey Junkie. Let me go back to the first 2 that I tried. I'll try to give you an ABV. So let's see. I don't know, very little heat on that. I'm gonna say that's a relatively lower ABV. I'll say probably right around maybe the 90 range or so, something along those lines. 2, I'm guessing, is going to be a little bit higher. It was a little hotter than number 1. Yeah, I'm gonna say number 2. It's a little bit hotter, maybe in that 95 or so range. I mean, so far of 1 and 2, you know, I prefer 1 versus 2. 2 reminds me just of more of a single malt. That I'm not a huge fan of just single malts in general. I prefer, you know, obviously bourbon. You know, it's a little sweeter. You know, not that it's more complex or anything than single malts or scotches or anything like that, but it's just that single grain flavor that I'm not a huge fan of. So that's, again, just me, to each their own. You know, again, whatever you drink, enjoy it, drink it however you want it, you know, so don't let anybody tell you how to drink your whiskey. Drink it however you want. So at first, when I kind of got into things a little bit, I was so dead set on just drinking it, you know, neat, because I thought something was going to be, Nick, I thought it was going to be, you know, just changing the flavor profile of everything. But, you know, again, just drink it however you want. That's the main thing. So let me get back into 3. So I think this is probably in that 90-ish range. I'm going to say this is probably, I don't know, maybe that 95 to maybe 100 range. I got a little more heat on number 2 than number 1. I don't think number 1 was very high in ABV. All right, let me get back into number 3. Yeah, it's weird. I get this, like, almost like a glue nose to it. I've never smelled anything like that. It's glue and sweet. I don't know if, like, Nick gave me like a kid's like I don't know. I'm gonna guess like yeah, let's go with Elmer's. That's probably about the, I mean, not that I sniff very much glue, but if I was, that's probably what I would default to. I don't know. So let me try this. We'll see what we've got. Well, I have to say the taste is like night and day versus the nose. They don't resemble each other at all. So the taste on this is actually fairly sweet. You know, boy, I guess that could be a, I don't know. I guess it could be a bourbon. You know, something that's kind of very interesting. Yeah, there's a chance it could be a wheater. It's for sure soft like that. It's soft like a wheated bourbon. And you know, a little bit of that kind of doughiness does want to kind of come through a little bit, whether it's a wheated bourbon or not. It's I would say for sure soft. I mean, to me, my preference, I mean, it's not even close. I mean, so far 3 for me in terms of flavor. That's the one I would probably, you know, choose hands down. Now, I don't think it's a high ABV at all. There's very little heat. Now, again, I guess, and maybe I'm not telling anybody something they don't already know, but you know, a lot of times these, you know, I'll stick with bourbon, but sometimes these bourbons that are, you know, put into the barrel at a lower entry proof, come out less hot and with more flavor. I think that's kind of become a little bit more of the trend recently, is to go in at a lower entry proof, and then once it's aging in the barrel, the ABV really doesn't fluctuate a whole lot. So you know, when they you know, load these barrels full of, you know, high entry proof bourbon, you know, you get hotter bourbon generally. To me, I think you get more of a grainy bourbon, you know, something that's not necessarily for me as pleasant, but you know, again, to each their own. So you know, but you know, 3 I prefer, you know, hands down to all of them. So I'm a little nervous to you know, I guess reveal exactly what they all are, and maybe I should do that now, and then we can just kind of, you know, if we want to just, you know, go over a few things, talk about some other stuff, I'm happy to do so. So, you know, thanks again for hopping on here. It's only showing 8 people, but you know, it's at least a start, and we can kind of, you know, go from there. But you know, right now it's you know, again, like I said, my first time, you know, doing a live stream, so it's been a lot of fun, and I enjoy, you know, just the conversation and stuff back and forth. So why don't we, I guess I'll give my preference in terms of, again, I guess what I prefer and which order I prefer it in. So I guess if I'm gonna choose, I'm gonna say 3. So number 3 is my first choice, and I think clearly number 1 is my second choice, and number 2 is my third choice. So if I had to pick, I'm going 3, 1, 2. So all right, so let's do this. I guess to kind of make a little bit of a guess as to what in the world some of this stuff is, I'm gonna say let's go back. Let's do this. I'll go with my favorite one first. Yeah, I'm gonna say number 3. I'm gonna say number 3 is a wheated bourbon. I'm not getting a ton of spice or anything along those lines. It's soft. It reminds me of a weeded bourbon is kind of what it is. Low heat. Maybe it's finished in something. I mean, the only thing that's throwing me off is that, you know, I'd guess maybe I mean, it's either finished in something or it's got some age to it that doesn't have a ton of heat. To me, it'd be a really good or easy sipping bourbon. I don't think it's something that would necessarily hold up the greatest in a cocktail. Maybe a Manhattan that's on the sweeter side. Yeah, number 3 by far is my favorite. So I think number 3, which is my number 1, is a weeded bourbon. I guess if I had to guess, man, I don't know. The color is what's throwing me off, because generally, unless these are, I mean, I'm going to assume again they're all finished, because nothing's going to have that kind of color to it that doesn't have, you know, the age in a barrel. Nothing can get that. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's all. It's interesting. I don't know what that could be. I mean, maybe no, it's not Angel's Envy or anything. I mean, that's not a weeded bourbon. I don't know. I mean, on the weeded side of things, I don't know. I mean, there's not a lot of finished, like, weeded bourbons. You know, unless he decided to throw Pappy in some kind of, you know, barrel. I don't have a guess as to what it was. So, Nick, why don't you give me a bit of a hint without revealing anything? Okay, all right. No, it's Weller. I know. I thought Weller. That's the thing, but unless, again, the color of it is. I mean, I don't think it's Weller 12. So, Santa Cruz, and how's it going, man? I'm glad you could hop on. I appreciate it. Good to see you. I don't think it's a. I just don't know. It tastes like a weeded bourbon, but again, I don't know many finished weeded bourbons, unless it's something that's local, which I guess it could also be. It's good, but there's probably a million different bourbons or, you know, other things that are, you know, out there that are, you know, finished whatever. So it's very good. Whatever it is, it's very good. So let's go with number 1, which is my second choice. I don't know. I just get, like, with something like that just seems to be very single maltish is kind of what I get. I get that with 1 and 2 a little bit. I don't think number 1 is a rye at all. No, that's not rye. I don't think. All right. Number 2. Now this was my least favorite. Yeah. Pressman, thanks, man. I appreciate you joining. I know. I'm gonna say number 2, number 2 to me is some type of single malt. I get a lot of, I don't want to say scotchiness to it, but I get very much like one single grain. That again may be finished in something. I don't know exactly what that's finished in. For me, with scotches and single malts, I get that single grain dominance, and everything else seems to just kind of fall in the background. So Jamie, how you doing, man? So I don't know. So why don't we go ahead? Is everybody ready, I guess, at this point for me to do the reveal of, or no, it's not corn like. It's not sweet like that. Not single grain like corn, like single grain like barley is what number 2 is coming through to me. I don't know. Number 2 to me is a single malt that's finished in something. So I don't know if that's the case or not. I'll be really interested with all of this stuff. So so I guess you guys let me know. Do you want me to go ahead and Todd? This is kind of like a suspense movie. So as you can see, but I've dragged this thing out for quite some time, and more of it's not dragging it out, it's just, Nick, you've done a heck of a job with trying to stump me a little bit, I'll tell you that. So you've done a good job. So so why don't we do this? How about if I go ahead, we'll do the reveal, and then we can talk a little bit more about each one, and we'll kind of go from there. How's that sound? You guys let me know. If you want me to do the reveal now, I can do that, and then we can talk a little bit more about that, and or whatever else we want to do. So just let me know. All right, here we go. Santa Cruzin, that's one. Sounds good. Dwayne, good. Santa Cruzin's good. What's everybody else got for me? Let's see if we can get half. If we get half of everybody, all right. Carl, good. So that's 3. I think we're getting there. Nick, I think, is probably good. So, all right, let's just do it. So I'm gonna do the envelope, please. I'll try to not screw this up like it was the Oscars or whatever the world those guys did. So, all right, so let's see what we've got. So again, my order, just to create a little bit more suspense, my order was 3, 1, 2. That's how I preferred it. So, Bill, thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it. See, now I got one of the big dogs. I've got guys who've got like a million. I got guys who've got like 1 million subscribers and stuff on here, like Bill. No, all seriousness, Bill, congrats on surpassing the 10,000. I know Bill's got his live event tonight for his giveaway. So, yep. See, it was like 1,010,000, I think, is what it was. So, but no, serious. All right, so number 1. So let's do it in order of how I preferred it. Now, my wife wrote this down, so she didn't give me a lot to work off of. So number 3 is Alberta. I'm guessing, obviously, this is some type of Canadian whiskey. Nick, you're gonna have to help me out here a little bit. I'm assuming like a lot 40 or something along those lines. It reminded me of bourbon, is what it really reminded me of. So I guess I was close to it being. Oh yeah, dark. Okay, so this is a rye. Boy, I would have never have guessed. Mix of rye, bourbon, and sherry. Okay, so all right, so I was kind of 2/3 right. So it was a mix of bourbon and sherry. So that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, you do. You get it is very interesting. Kind of like so that Alberta could be similar to. Well, I don't want to say the campfire from High West, because that's got Scotch, bourbon, and rye blend, I believe is what that is. But in terms of the blend, that could be something, very, very similar to something like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you guys can find it, I have no idea. So So Nick, where did you get this from? I don't get over to like the Canadian whiskey section or any of that kind of stuff very often, but I'm assuming that's probably where it was. Welsh, how's it going, man? Huh. I don't know. I wouldn't guess that it was inexpensive. I mean, this so far to me was my favorite. Now, I guess I like it more maybe because there's a little bit of a bourbon influence. But anyway, so my favorite was the Alberta. So that was my number one. So my second favorite was number one, which is Great Lakes Distillery. So for anybody who lives basically outside of the state of Wisconsin may not know Great Lakes, and I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the Great Lakes distillery that's here in Wisconsin. So she didn't put anything on here. It just says Great Lakes Distillery. Is this like one of their single malts, or what exactly is this? Yeah, so yeah, it does smell, it's winey. That's what it was. It was kind of like that red wine. But was it a single malt? It doesn't remind me of a rye or a bourbon. It just doesn't have that sweetness outside of the wine finish to it. So, but yeah, so a malt whiskey. All right, so I kind of got that one a little bit. So that's kind of what I thought. Now, the Mortlock, and I guess I'm saying that right, but I'm going to assume, is the Mortlock is it technically considered a Scotch? So either Nick or Bill, you guys are more Scotch guys than I am. So you'll have to let me know, is this Mortlock a Scotch or a single malt? Yeah, okay. So that's probably why. I mean, I could tell that was something. Is it, Nick, is it finished in something, or is this just what that is? So yeah, because I don't know. I didn't know what Mortlock was prior to tasting this. All I knew was that it was a single malt that was finished in something. So I guess that explains why. So I just can't, for some reason, and I don't like to offend anybody or anything, I just cannot get on the I just can't get into the single malts or scotches or something. There's just that same single grain profile that I just don't like. It's kind of dirty tasting to me for some reason. Maybe that's just because I lean more towards sweeter Scotch or sweeter bourbons and things along those lines. And by just in terms of the mash bills, the bourbons are going to be sweeter than scotches. That's my experience. I haven't had a lot of scotch, but from what I have tasted it, mostly it all falls in this category. So I guess you guys let me know. So, I mean, is a 25-year scotch a rare thing, or are a lot of scotches, have a lot of age like that to them, or what? Because I don't have a whole lot of experience with scotches at all. So I mean, I'm really a bourbon guy, and that's what I kind of lean to. So what do you guys think, I guess, as far as the Mortlock, or what are your favorites? What are the things that you guys lean towards drinking the most? So I'm trying to read this stuff off now. I'm just streaming this thing off my phone right now, so the comments and everything kind of go away. So until I get a better laptop that's not my work one, I need to try to read a little bit faster, or figure out a way to keep up the all right, so, all right, well, Nick, well, thanks for shooting me a 25-year scotch. So, Pressman, Baker's 107. I have to say, that's probably one of the more underrated bourbons that is out there today. And to me, it's really, really underrated. It's a fantastic bourbon. I mean, it's really one that's easy to sip on. Travis, how's it going, man? It's one of those bourbons that is very underrated. A lot of people don't, I think a lot of people just overlook it. You know, it just kind of, it's one of those bourbons that, you know, falls by the wayside. It doesn't get probably the respect that it should. So, you know, if you guys haven't had it, Baker's is, you know, one of those ones that I would highly recommend. So, you know, go pick that up. So I know it's still early, a little bit later on the East Coast, pretty early on the West Coast. So I know people probably aren't doing a lot of drinking out west yet. East Coast people, I don't know, 6:20, so it could, you know, for sure everybody may have something out there. And is everybody who's on here right now in the States, or anybody from anywhere else at all? Silence. Missouri. All right, Travis. I think I already knew that though. So I knew you were a Midwest guy. So Nick, I know Nick's close. He's a Milwaukee guy. So, and if everybody doesn't know, Michigan. All right, West Coast, Santa Cruz, and I could have figured that out based on the name. So I knew that. All right, good old PA. So I was actually born in upstate New York, so a little small town in upstate. So I know the East Coast fairly well. So I've been here now. I'm in the state of Wisconsin. If everybody didn't know that already, but yeah. So it's good. I'm glad we were able to, you know, get on here and do something like this. You know, normally I do, you know, the typical reviews and all of that, you know, and that's really fun to do. But these live things are really fun. So, all right, Pressman, Connecticut. All right, so a few East Coast guys. So we've covered every coast and the middle of the country. So that's okay. Santa Cruz, and I think you had mentioned something about being born here to me at one point. So I'm assuming you've probably not lived here for a while. And if that's the case, I would say a lot of things for the better have changed with Milwaukee. So it's become, you know, a much nicer, you know, downtown area, you know, much more, you know, foodie for the most part. You know, not overly foodie or anything like that. But, you know, some really fantastic restaurants and things like that. So, but, so does anybody else have anything else? I guess if not, you know, maybe I've been on here for about 50 minutes. So, KC. Yeah, thanks again, Nick. I appreciate it. So, I guess what I'll probably do is, you know, maybe stay on here for a couple more minutes if anybody else wants to, you know, chat about anything, or let me know, you know, what you guys, you know, prefer. What are your go-tos? What are your, you know, what do you guys like to drink? So, you know, but, you know, I'm always interested to know what everybody else is always, you know, drinking. I mean, you know, obviously my preference is bourbon, and I I lean a lot more towards, you know, something that's got a little bit more of a sweeter profile. However, I do enjoy a lot of the Four Roses. I like the spiciness that it has to it. You know, Eagle Rare, you know, I like it a lot. It's one of those bourbons that's just easy to sip on. You know, not great in cocktails, but, you know, relatively low proof. And yeah, Rare Breed, it's a good one. You know, another high proof, you know, bourbon. You know, something that I think with like Rare Breed, like Travis was saying, you know, to me, some of the ones that are, you know, higher proof, you know, a little bit, just a drop or two of water, you know, really changes a lot of these high proof bourbons. So it's not that you can't drink them or people should shy away from them. It's maybe just adding a couple drops of water helps bring down some of the ABV, you know, cuts the proof a little bit on it, takes away some of the burn, and you know, they become really fantastic. You know, same thing with like Booker's. You know, Booker's is one of those ones that, you know, as Bill, I don't know if Bill's on here or not anymore, but, you know, Booker's is one of those ones that if you like high proof bourbon, you know, again, it's a fantastic, you know, bourbon. Unfortunately, the price point is about $75. And, you know, it's kind of, I don't want to say priced itself out of, you know, the regular or standard market, but, you know, it's a fantastic bourbon, and I think it does really well if you put a little bit of water in that. So, Travis, you didn't like the little book, hey? Now that's different. So I mean, it's bourbons and ryes and you know, all of that stuff. It's I thought it was really good. I felt it was fairly complex with the blend that it was. I really enjoyed it. But Dwayne, I'm a Booker's fan as well. It's just one of those ones that, you know, if you're drinking it neat, you just have to take your time with it. It's just one of those that you just, you know, it's high proof. I mean, you're talking about anywhere from, I don't know, 125 up to almost 140 proof. That's not something you want to, you know, throw back very quickly. So, you know, but anyway, like I said before, you know, towards the beginning, I said, whatever you like, you know, you drink what you like. I mean, that's a kind of a goofy statement, but I mean, that's exactly, you know, what it is. You drink what you like and enjoy what you like. And, you know, that's one of the fun parts with bourbon. It generates conversation and all of that. I mean, similar kind of what we're doing now. So it's a lot of fun. So, and enjoyable at the same time. So, so I don't know, I guess with all of that, you know, I'll probably, you know, wrap some things up unless somebody else has any questions or anything like that for me. I'm kind of I don't want to say an open book, but, you know, I enjoy talking with people, and, you know, like with my reviews, anybody who leaves me a comment, you know, I try to get back to them. You know, anybody who's willing to, you know, watch the reviews and subscribe and do all of that, you know, I appreciate all of that. I don't have a ton of followers. I mean, I've got, what did I have? 485. So there's 10 people watching. So, you know, 475 people aren't watching right now. But I appreciate the 10 who are watching. You know, it means a lot to me. And, you know, I'll hopefully be able to continue to grow this, to grow the channel. And, you know, as long as everybody, you know, really likes, or, you know, as long as everybody is okay with, you know, the you know, live events or whatever that may be, then, you know, I'll keep doing these. I've got to get some, you guys have got to help me get some more subscribers. I need to get on some of these channels that have the big subscribers so that I can get a few more. Now, I guess just to give like a shout out to a few of the other guys that are out there. I was talking with John the other day. He does the blind whiskey reviews. I believe his channel is Blind Whiskey Reviews. So go check him out. I'm sure you guys have probably all seen it, but if you haven't, go check him out. Scotch Test Dummies. Scott's been great with everything. He does a fantastic job. Bart is Bart. He's really entertaining. He knows his stuff as well. Then you got some of the other kind of the Scotch guys, Roy, Aquavite. You have to go check out Keith. He does the Malted Man Cave. He's a great dude. He really has a lot of fun, doing his stuff, and it really comes through. When he's doing his reviews, he's sitting down with I believe it's Dave a lot of the time, and then they go back and forth and tell some stories and all of that. But they have a really good time as well. What else? There's a lot of the channels I follow. Whiskey Scout, yeah, he does a great job. There's a lot of really good channels and a lot of good guys. What else we have? Who else do you guys follow, that you really, enjoy watching their reviews? And some are more than just reviews. Some are just, great stories and a lot of those things. So, some of it can get really, really fun. So what are some of the other ones that you guys, follow? Now, I see not a lot of, bourbon related stuff, but more Scotch stuff. Yeah, Bourbon Night. They Chad and Sarah, they do a really good job as well. So they're fantastic. And I have to say, if some or any of you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, just hit that subscribe button. Any of it and all of it really helps me. So please do that. So Malted in Montreal, Swami, he does a good job. He and I are maybe going to be doing something, hopefully a bourbon. I know he does a lot of scotches and even some rums and things along those lines. But I'd like to do something with him, maybe even Bill. He does the Whiskey Dictionary, the Whiskey Dick, which is kind of funny in itself. But he does a good job. Bourbon Night. So he's got some, Whiskey Blooded. Dave does a really good job with things as well. The Bourbon Night, he does some cool things. He's got a kind of a cool vibe and stuff, to what he does. He's got a movie production type, look to some of his stuff. I don't know if he's just great at editing or what, but all my stuff basically I do, right off of my phone. So Working Man's Whiskey, yep, he does a good job as well. To each their own. Everyone's got different almost production levels. There's some that, I've got, Patreon, I've got, one subscriber or one follower, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not necessarily doing this for, money. I do it basically just to have, fun with, interact with you guys. And I've run into, if not all, most of you through conversations on, other live streams that other guys do and all of that. So I have a really good time doing things. So, I guess, does anybody else have anything else? Thanks, Whiskey Music. I try to do that as much as possible. I don't want to come through, stiff and just general reviews. And sometimes, a lot of the bourbons can kind of get a little bit, the same. But, I get a lot of different types of things within bourbon. I just really enjoy it overall. So, hopefully you guys, do too. So, does anybody have anything else at all? I'm happy to answer any questions or discuss anything else or other topics or anything along those lines. No? All right, well, I mean, we've been on here for, you know, almost an hour. I guess it's an hour longer than I expected to almost be on. But, you know, again, I know Nick's gone, but I have to say thanks to him for, you know, checking or sending me the samples and all of that. So Santa Cruz, and thanks, I appreciate that. I missed the one that was right before Santa Cruz, and I don't think I'd seen the name or whatever before. But anyway, hey, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all the help, anything I can get to keep building this channel. And if you guys like it, you know, I want to keep doing this stuff. So, you know, Dwayne, thanks for tuning in. I know you've been here since the beginning, so I appreciate that. But so unless anybody else has you know, anything else, I may just you know, go ahead and we'll end the live one, and then I'll try to maybe do, you know, one of these, you know, every now and then. Thanks Dwayne, I appreciate it. You know, try to do, you know, these a few other times and get these things out. I really enjoy it, and maybe next time I'll just have a bourbon and something else, and we can just, you know, talk about stuff. But you know, again, thanks guys, I really appreciate it. So, you know, with that, you know, just, you know, enjoy what you enjoy, and you know, drink what you want. Don't let anybody tell you what to drink. You know, the most important thing is, you know, having fun with it, enjoying what you like, you know, having good conversation with good friends and family. That's ultimately what it's all about. So, I guess we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. We'll see ya. Bye. Have a good night, everyone.